Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Aisha. I am just here trying to live my best life with a focus on a more natural and a less waste lifestyle. I wanted to come very quickly and give you 4 easy tips on how you can get started on living a life of less waste and transitioning into being a little bit more eco-friendly in your everyday life. So if you're interested in a couple of great tips, stay with me. All right, so I'm not going to drag this out. This is like my 10th time recording this video, so we're going to jump right in with tip number 1. Tip number 1 is to be aware and make a commitment. And what that means is that you are going to be aware of how your actions and the things that you do every day, which is the waste that you create and the plastics that you use, and being aware of how they impact your environment and the planet. Understanding how these actions and things like greenhouse emissions are contributing to the climate change crisis is a really big deal, and it will help you in your everyday choices and decision making. Once you are aware and you have somewhat of an understanding of how these things affect the big picture, make a commitment. And it doesn't have to be anything grand and sweeping. You don't have to have, this step-by-step plan and all these things that you need to do. Just make a commitment to do better. So in your awareness and the things that you encounter, when there's an opportunity to make a better decision, just make a commitment to make better choices. That's a great place to start. Tip number 2 is to be prepared and bring your own. Most of the time when you leave the house, you're going to be confronted with something that's plastic or disposable. Go ahead and get rid of the choice and get rid of the hassle and be prepared and bring your own. You can bring your own water bottle, your own coffee cups. They even have these that I saw advertised that collapse down to like 2 inches flat, tie up, and they slip directly into your pocket. You can bring your own reusable bags, and you can even bring your own silverware. I have this cool little kit that includes a straw and chopsticks, a straw cleaner, fork, silverware, and a knife, and it's wrapped up conveniently and slips right into my purse. Pretty much anything that is disposable when you go out, if you have a reusable option, take it with you. Now, that's not to say that you have to go out and buy any of these things like the gimmicky foldable coffee cup or the cutlery set that I have, which is cool, but you can also do these things by using what you already have at home. Now, I got my little kit. It was about $11 on Amazon, and it's nice. But if you don't want to spend that money, that's fine. Just use the silverware in your house, put them in something that's reusable, and throw those into your purse instead. It doesn't have to be something that's specifically designed for travel. Also, most of my reusable bags are about 99 cents to $1.99. But if you don't want to make the investment and you don't want to purchase bags, next time you go to the grocery store or you find somewhere that has paper bags, get paper instead of plastic and save your paper bags. As long as they don't get wet and they aren't soiled, you should be able to reuse those paper bags again. So fold those up and keep those in the cabinet or throw those back into your car and use those to bring your own instead of taking home a plastic bag. Tip number 3 is to reuse and replace as needed. And it took a little bit for me to understand this one because once you make the decision to start living a life of less waste, you start to see all the things around you that are bad and that there are better, more environmentally friendly alternatives for. And so you want to just toss all that stuff and start making the change right away, but that's actually a little counterproductive. So you want to focus on reusing the things that you have. If there's nothing wrong with the plastic that's in your cabinet, use the plastic. Use the plastic again. Rinse it out and wash it out and use it again, because reusing something again and again helps the environment just as much as having that product and throwing it away later. Not to mention it's very expensive. If you just paid $20 for a plastic item and then tomorrow you find out that there is a comparable alternative, you don't want to throw the $20 out that you just got. So I decided that I wanted to get rid of plastic trash bags and transition to biodegradable trash bags. But I had just recently purchased our typical plastic Force Flex trash bags. I didn't throw those away and waste what I'd already purchased and create unnecessary waste. I started researching to figure out a good alternative, And when we got down to the last few little trash bags that we have, that's when I replaced with a more environmentally friendly alternative. So reuse what you have for as long as you can and replace those items as needed. The good thing about it is, and this is more like a bonus kind of tip. So as you're going through your everyday life and you're seeing this piece of plastic that you put up or this process that's maybe not the most environmentally friendly, make a note of that and do your research to figure out something that you can do that's a little bit healthier, that's a little bit more cost effective, and that produces a little bit less waste. That way, when the thing is gone and used up or broken and needs to be replaced, you'll already have an alternative in mind and you can just pick that thing up right away. Tip number four. Tip number four is my favorite tip. Tip number four is keep your ass in the house. And what that means is that if you're in the house, you're probably creating a lot less unnecessary waste. One of the reasons that people go out a lot of times is to eat. If you're going out to eat, you're creating waste, especially if you're going out to eat and you're making a choice to eat fast food, which isn't necessarily healthy, but sometimes it's just convenient. You're going to go to the drive-thru and you're going to get your meal. It's going to be maybe in a plastic bag. Your sandwich or whatever it is that you're eating is going to be in a plastic container and a plastic wrapper. You're going to have plastic silverware in a plastic wrapper. You're going to get your drink in a plastic or styrofoam cup. It's going to have a plastic lid with a plastic straw that comes in a plastic wrapper, and none of that shit is probably going to be recyclable. So just to combat all of that waste, stay at home, eat at home. And it's also nice because everybody knows that you save money when you eat at home. It's expensive to eat out. Now, that does mean that you have to plan ahead and you have to think ahead because eating out and fast food is really convenient. This is the world that we live in. It's so nice to stop on your way home, just go to the drive-thru and pick up things so you don't have to cook. So try to plan as often as possible. And if you do have to go through the drive-thru, tell them that you don't need a straw. Drink at home because a lot of times now your meal will come in paper and maybe your sandwich will come in cardboard, but your silverware are always plastic that are usually wrapped in plastic, and the cups are plastic with a plastic lid and a plastic straw. So even if you do have to go out and eat, maybe consider a better alternative and say, well, I'll drink what I have at home because I have a glass instead of this stuff that I'm going to toss, and I'm going to use my silverware at home. So again, this is just being aware and making a commitment to be the choices, which is tip number one. Tip number one, be aware of how your choices impact the environment and our planet. Tip number two, be prepared and bring your own reusable product whenever possible. And also make sure that those things are easily accessible. It's not going to do anybody any good if your silverware and your bag and your water bottle are at home and you're out with your kids and your family. Tip number three, reuse, reuse, reuse what you have and don't worry about replacing it until you need to. Tip number four, stay at home and eat at home. Like I said, you're creating less waste if you're in your house, especially if you've already started transitioning your house to a less waste household. There's just going to be, in general, less crap that's produced if you're in your own home. So that's it. My 4 easy tips, not too bad, and you should be able to implement one or probably all of them today without making a lot of huge changes in your everyday routine. Make sure that you don't fall into the trap that I fall into way too often and give into the gimmicks and feel like you have to purchase all of this stuff to replace the things that are bad for the environment, because creating more stuff can be just as harmful as creating more waste, because that stuff's going to have to go somewhere eventually. So let me know if you have some good tips and some of the things that came in handy when you were starting your journey down in the comments below, and let me know if you have any questions. I'll do some more videos in the future breaking down each one of these tips and how I implement them into my daily life so that it is a habit and I don't even have to think about making better choices. So if you are interested, make sure you are subscribed. Hit the bell notification icon so you get the notifications when those videos come out. And I will see you when I see you.